guys, it is Carl Brown from guitarlessons365.com. We are going to continue our look at surfing with the alien finally today after the first kind of famous riff video from a while back. Got 1,000 likes, so you guys have been asking me to do it, so I'm going to finish it up for you. And this first, I'm going to do 2 more videos for this. We're going to kind of take care of all the rhythm guitar parts in this one. Yes, there are rhythm guitar parts there. And the second theme, because I've already taught the first theme, and then that main solo that I just went through here. And in the second video, we'll take care of the outro solo and all the second theme, the second time through the second theme and stuff. All right, so let's start first with the rhythm that starts, the riff that starts the track. Kind of sounds like this. All right, so got some big stretches here in this riff, and then when it gets to the actual guitar solo stuff, the riff is simplified quite a bit. So let's start here with just this power chord up to the 3rd fret there. Chug that a couple times, then you go 6 on the low E, up to the 3 on the A. Then you're going to play basically the 3s across the 4, 5, and I'm sorry, the 3, 4, and 5 strings. And then you're going to add and bring it to that full power chord. So with this. Now here's where the stretches come in. Now we're just really at 2 string power chords. Just the regular power chord here at the 3rd fret. And then 7 on the A, 7 on the D, while you're still holding that 3 on the A. And then the 2 3s together. So the note that's changing there is on the D string. So it goes 5, 7, 3. Then reach all the way up here to the 8th fret and hit this twice with the 3rd fret there on the A. Then back to 7, then the 3s again. So we have this. And then back to the 5s twice. And then the 7. And then kind of just open real quick. So we have this all together. And then we have this little fill. So that's just playing the 3rd fret there on the D and the G, slide it down 2 frets. Down 1 fret. To the open, then the open G and the D together, and to take it just like a G power chord here. So it's just the G without the A string in there. So all together. And then start over. But now the second time when you go up to the 8 here, it's going to stay the same. And so just go. But when you get back to that 5, so it goes 8, 8, 7, 3, 5. And then you're just going to jump to this. So that's just the open D and G again. And then the 3rd fret there, the 3s on those 2 strings. Back to the open G, open chords, and then the 5, open, back to 3. So. All right, so it's kind of all together. All right, now when the soloing comes in, the main first theme comes in that we did in the previous video, underneath that it's pretty much the same riff without the little chord extension, so it's just... So you're just not doing all those little melodies on the D string, you're just kind of chugging that C power chord. All right, so you just kind of repeat that underneath that first phrase that we did in the first video. Now we get to, or this is the first theme. Now we get to the second theme, and we have a new, before we do that, we have a new riff underneath that. So, and that sounds like this. So that takes us up to the solo. So it's just simple E, low E power chord, 8th note, palm mute, 3rd fret of the A string, 3rd fret of low E, 5th fret of the A. And then there's a little fill here. It's just an open E, then a little bend and release there, the 5th fret on the low E. Then 3rd fret, to the open, and it just kind of lets the top 2 strings ring. So, then it just starts chugging again. That's just kind of when you start going around to repeat. All right, so let's learn the soloing that's going on over that. It sounds like this. All right, so pretty simple melodies here leading up to the solo, which is anything but simple. So we have, so it's just 3rd fret there on the A string, I'm sorry, 3rd fret, 7th fret, then 5, 7 on the D, slight bend on that 7, and then back to the 7 on the A, and back to the 5 on the D. One more time. Then you're going to pull off 7 to 5, and then do the slow half-step bend and release. And then we have this little lick. So that's sliding 7 to 8 on the D, over to 5 on the G, then 7 on the D, back to that 5 on the G, to 5 on the D. So, and then end it with 7, 5. So far we have this. All right, next phrase. All right, so we have the 5th fret there on the A. Then there's a lot of pinch harmonics going on with these parts, by the way. And that's just kind of going to be a feel thing. There's no specific harmonics he's doing. He's just kind of digging into the notes. So 5 on the A, then 5, 7 on the D. And then that bending that 7. Back to 5 on the A, then 5 on the D. That pull off 7 to 5 again. And resolve it to that 7. And then hit a harmonic on the open G. Big bar dive there. And then we have the next phrase. All right, so that's open E and then slide into the 14th fret on the D string, then 12. And when he's playing on some of these notes, especially anything that's played with your index finger, sometimes he's kind of just doing slight inflections with the notes. So you just slightly pull the string. It's not like a true bend. Just kind of, pull it towards the floor. So it's 14 and then 12, 14 on the G. Then a bend there. Whole side bend. Back to 14 on the D. And back to 12 on the G. Then pull off 14 and 12. Then a slow bend there. So half step bend, and then play 15 on the high E string. Bend that, pick that 14, resolve the bend, just release it, and then play 13 with it on the high E. Next phrase. So, and that's just kind of like the higher version of what we did before. So it's a 12th fret, 12, 14, and then the bend at the 14. Over to D on 12th fret, back to the G, 12th fret. Then 14, 12, and then back to that 14. All right, and that brings us to the solo that I played at the beginning. Now, the first phrase of this solo is the tapping lick. Now, this tapping lick is going to be difficult if you're playing with a band or with a backing track. You're not going to hear the extra noise that the guitar is going to make. There's no way really of muting. If you want to play the notes with multiple fingers, you can. You're going to hear the other strings vibrate. So if I have this up top, you hear that little rumbling in the background. Now, it usually gets worse as you go down because you're hitting the guitar, but you don't have a hand available to mute it. If you really want to quiet that up, and you can really hear it when you're playing it like me, where I don't have any backing track with it. I'm just playing it out in the open. So you can do it like this. Something like that, and that'll quiet it out. But or you can do it like he does it, which is just like this. All right, so I'm going to do it like he does it, but like I said, I was just going to give you that option. So let me just show you what's going on here. He's using the side of his pick to tap the 22nd fret. And beside that, he's playing the 21st fret with his third finger, his middle finger. Now you keep that trill with the tap going, and you play 19, 21, and then 17, 19, and then 16, 17, 16, 14. So we have this so far. And then 13, 14, 13, down to 9. You can go down to the 21st fret when you get to the 9 too. So we have this all together. Wait, one more second. And then starts that legato lick. So that's pretty much, you just need to know the notes that he's going down. He's just kind of continue tapping the same fret there. But like I said, the muting, it's up to you whether you let a little noise go with the guitar. If you're playing with a full band, you're never going to really notice it. But like I said, if you can hear it here because of, I'm not muting any. I don't have like one of those things that's going to mute the strings or whatever. So let's start now with the next phrase, which is the legato lick. All right, these kinds of licks is what he likes to call his rolling ball of mercury. Satriani does this constantly. Now, the key to doing this kind of thing is not necessarily doing it the exact same way that's on the album, because he never repeats it the same way himself. He just kind of has his hands are doing a series of patterns, and he's playing within the scale form. So whatever you do is going to sound great. You're just using this legato technique. All right, so let's just look at the scale. It's a C-sharp Phrygian scale is what he's building this legato lick out of. So the notes altogether that we'll be using in this lick are just the scale. 10, 9, 7 on the high E, 10, 9, 7 on the B. All right, and then we're going to play 9-7-6 on the G string. And then 4-6-7 on the G. That's basically where. And then 7-6-4 on the D. And 7-5-4 on the A. And all right, so let's take a look at what we can do here to make it sound like a lick that he'll start it with a half step bend release at the 9th fret and pull off to 7. And then you can start your first lick, which a very common lick that he does is he plays the top note of the 3. So these are little 3-note groupings of legato licks. Plays the top note, pulls off to the index, and then goes hammers up, back to the top note. Just so you skip the note in the middle, then go back up, and then go all the way back down. Let's play this. And he just takes it to the B string. So it's just little looks like that. You don't have to be exact of how you do it. When you get to the G string, play 9-7, then pull off, then slide down to 6, and then start that lick. And then you do that lick there, then slide down to 4, and then do the lick there. So like I said, don't be too crazy about getting it. Follow the right notes. Don't worry about. Take it over the D string, 7-6-4, and then 7-5-4. The open A, then 2, and then 4 twice. All together. So just have fun. All right, next phrase. All right, so we're just going to 6-7 on the A, down to 4. So I'm just. So just mess around with those 3 notes is what he's doing. Then jump up here to the 6th fret on the G string, and you rotate this between the 6th fret on the G to the 8th fret there on the D. And he's really hitting a lot of pinch harmonics on that G string whenever he goes ahead, and he's kind of hitting it 3 times in a row a lot on the G. Then we get to the next phrase. All right, so that's going. So it's 12-13 on the G, a quick little open D to the 11th fret there on the D string. Then we have that 13 on the D, and then 12-13 on the G again, and back to that 11. So we have this. And then we get to this kind of classic blues lick. So that's going to be a bend at the 14th fret on the B string. And then we're going to play 11 on the high E, then pull off 14 to 11 and hammer back onto 14. And do that bend there on the B string. So it's like. So you do that a few times. Then he just kind of slides up the B string real quick. And then we have this kind of really crazy legato lick. It sounds like this. All right, so that is going to just basically start with, it's a big stretch, the 4th fret there on the D string, 7 on the D, and then 8 on the D. So we have this, start with pulling off those 3 notes. Then come over and grab the 8th fret there on the A. And then back to the D. And then we're just going to pull off 7-4 on the D, then 8-4. Just like this. And just kind of repeat that a few times. So that's the basic lick. And then what he does is, instead of going to the 8th fret there on the A string, he goes to the 8th fret on the G. And then he goes to the 6th fret there on the A string just to end it out. Kind of bend and release. Into this last phrase. All right, so that is going to be a bend there, a 1.5 step bend at the 20th fret on the high E. 4 of them to be exact, and then another one of those. He likes to grab the bar and just go against the strings with it. I don't have my bar set up to be able to do that. So you can just hit a pinch harmonic on the open G, then raise up the bar, and then we have that. Now, when he gets to this part, by the way, you go from the riff that we learned, that we'll actually, I guess we need to check out the riff underneath this solo before we leave here. But so I'll get to that in a second then. So we're going to do a bend there at the 14th fret here, and then grab the 15th fret on the high E, then pick that 14, release, then play 13 on the high E, and then play 14 on the G, 15 on the B, then bend that 14 again, up to 12 on the high E. And then we go back to the 14, 15, 14 on the G, and 15 on the B. Bend and release the 14, pull off to 12, and then play 14, 10 on the A. All right, so let's take a look at the rhythm that happens underneath the solo. So when the solo starts with the tapping, we have this. All right, so that's what's going on underneath it. So it's pretty repetitive. We're going to be up at the 4th fret power chord off the A string. Kind of chugging on that, and then 7 on the low E, then 4, 5 on the A, and then back to that power chord. Now the second time around, instead of playing the 5th fret just with a single note, hit as a power chord. Back down. So first time, single note. Second time. So just repeat that. And then moving up to the next little key change, we're gonna go to this 9th fret there on the low E, 6, 7, to the power chord. And once again, just play it like you did here the first time. Single notes, and then full power chord. And we're going to go up again here, so we're going to move up 2 frets and do the same riff. You hold this, and then at this part, that part is just that G power chord. And there's some picking in there. So just kind of pick across like the 3rd fret on the D and B and high E string, then 3, 2 on the D. And then open G, 1st fret on B, 3rd fret on the high E. We're back to the main theme again. So we're going to pick up where we left off in the next video. I'll see you there.